I would love to sell boomers some of my crypto bags.
Right.
True. They have way more money.
Yeah. So if they want to, bag hold some like XRP or whatever it is they're buying, like have at it. Sorry, no diss to XRP, but like I see people online, like they're like XRP is going to $100. I'm like, okay, like maybe
That's felt a little quieter lately.
let's use math. Well, at that price, right? The market cap of that asset would be over $1 trillion. Like I think again, people forget like, math is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Math is hard for people.
Exponential math is hard. Yeah.
It's very hard. Exactly. And again, I just think when people say these things, they're not really thinking about what they're actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, again, I want to use math and objective reality, or as close to it as we can get, because objective reality doesn't actually exist. But let's get as close to the truth as we can and actually try to use data and facts to inform our perspectives. Okay, so then I want to touch on another really interesting trend. So I think we've talked a little bit about economic force and what's happening. Let's talk a little bit about where growth is, right? You look at this world and you're like, wait a minute, it's scary. What do I do? How do I invest in progress? Okay, let's talk about the things and let's talk about what's happening with tech generally, right? So 10 years ago, I left college. No, more than 10 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old. But 10 years ago, the world I lived in, I worked in the energy industry. And at the time, I was working with some of the largest companies in the world. 10 years ago, the largest companies in the world were energy producers and manufacturers, makers of physical things, and banks that finance that physical activity. Today, the largest companies in the world, right? Microsoft, $2 trillion market cap. Microsoft has a market cap that is larger than the economies of most nation states.
Right.
Google,
Yep.
Facebook, Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the mindset that we are moving away from the relevance of the physical world and the physical state, right? Like we belong to a digital nation state. I identify more as a crypto person than I do as a Bitcoiner, I should really say. I identify more as that than I do as like an American or where I happen to be born.
Right.
And I think if you talk to people in our generation, the way we define ourselves is not by our physical jurisdiction. The way we define ourselves is by what we believe in and what communities we're a part of.
Right.
And we spend all of our time in this really amazing, really fun bubble that is its own alternate reality, which is crypto Twitter, right?
It has its own personality, its own characteristics, its own internal memes, its own communication style,
its own beliefs, right?
Beliefs.
We have our own, and we have our own language, our own lingo, right? Like ape together, ape strong, rug pull, blue chip DeFi coins. Like I love it. It's great. It's the best cult I've ever been in. It's awesome. But at the same time, I think people looking at this from the outside in sometimes forget like how powerful that is. And the shift from the world of physical things to world of digital things, this is really about the battle we're facing now. It's a battle for control. And I want to quickly talk about the politics. Okay, cool. So here we are, right? Cyberspace is the next frontier. And this is really what I was talking about with the evolution and the shift from the world of the physical to the world of the digital. And so as we think about this new frontier, and like quick sidebar, I love reading sci-fi. If you go to my website, meltemdemirors.com, I have my favorite sci-fi books on a sci-fi reading list there. But sci-fi is actually humans creating mythology to try to predict the future based on history, right? And so sci-fi is such an amazing genre to read because you get to time travel and experience all of these different potential versions of the future, which I think is actually really important as a technologist and an investor and someone who's trying to predict what's going to happen in the future and make bets based on that, right? Sci-fi is predictive in a way because it's based on our understanding of the past. So big plug for sci-fi books. If you ever want to read, like hit me up on Twitter. I'm all about it. All right. We talked a little bit about our digital overlords. The digital economy is growing. What's crazy? So this chart about the percent of the S&P 500 by market cap. Last year, the 5 largest tech stocks made up 17% of the S&P 500. As of today, a year later, those 5 stocks make up 27% of the value of the US stock market. 27%. Over 20% of all stock market gains over the last 20 years can be attributed to a single company. Do you know what that company is?
Is it Apple?
It's Apple. And here's why I think this is interesting. There in the world of investing, right? People are always like, oh, cryptocurrency is a bad investment. ICOs are bad investment because they're scammy. Guess what? A lot of public companies are scammy as shit and they
Totally
are
agree, yeah.
terrible investments and do not make money.